Well, it certainly hasn't been denied by Meghan's side, and that's something. So I think she probably has contacted her father or the hospital, or possibly her half brother, more likely the hospital, to pass on her good wishes, I imagine, to her father, who does seem to be very ill indeed. He's been in poor health for a long time, but now in intensive care and having his leg reportedly amputated. This does seem to have provoked a change of heart from Meghan.
Do you think that with relationships softening between Meghan Markle and her father, that perhaps there could be some sort of softening between Harry and the King? It seemed as though Meghan Markle, at some points, it felt as though Meghan Markle was almost trying to keep her husband away from his family. Perhaps now she's getting closer to her father again, her husband will too.
MEGHAN Sussex, we must remember. She doesn't like being called Meghan Markle. And of course, she is still a Duchess. She's not a former Duchess. Whether this will have any impact on Harry and the King, no, I don't think so. But I think we should cut Meghan some slack here. I'm a bit tired of all the criticism of her. Families are complicated. We all know that. And the royal family is particularly complicated. She's put up with a lot from her father, you know, over the years. He has been selling his story to all sorts of outlets, giving media interviews, whether paid or not, when she has pleaded with him not to do so. She's also put up with a lot of verbal abuse from her half-brother and her half-sister, Thomas and Samantha. And she has chosen over recent years simply not to contact any of them. But I think she would have had to have a heart of stone not to, in the Americanese, reach out or try to contact her father in this health crisis. And she doesn't have a heart of stone, I don't think. She may be misguided, possibly, in talking all the time about the importance of family, importance of love, importance of harmony, and then not demonstrating that herself. But as I say, families are complicated and estrangements like this are delicate.
Thank you, Jennie Bond, for refusing to march in lockstep with the tired, dreary, decades-old UK media script. While the usual suspects were busy dusting off their favourite 2018 talking points about difficult Meghan and her heartless treatment of poor Thomas Markle, Jennie walked onto that GB News set, armed with something dangerously rare in British royal coverage these days: facts, dignity, and an actual spine. The topic, inevitably, was the latest rehash of the Sussex-Markle family fracture. Thomas Markle, now 80 and reportedly in poor health, has once again been wheeled out by certain newspapers as Exhibit A in the perpetual prosecution of Meghan Sussex. The narrative hasn't changed since the wedding. That wasn't Meghan is cold. Meghan is cruel. Meghan ghosted her daddy the moment the tiara touched her head. It's the same broken record, just with added wrinkles and oxygen tanks for dramatic effect. Enter Jennie Bond, veteran royal correspondent, someone who has commentated on the monarchy since the days when Diana was still dodging paparazzi on ski slopes. She could have played it safe. She could have sighed theatrically, muttered something about both sides, and collected her fee. Instead, she did something radical. She spoke like a grown-up. She acknowledged the complexity of the situation, recognizing that these issues are rarely black and white. She acknowledged Thomas Markle's health struggles, reminding viewers that behind the headlines are real people facing real challenges. And then, without raising her voice or rolling her eyes, she delivered the most devastating weapon in her arsenal: basic humanity and empathy. "I think we have to have some compassion here," she said, calmly dismantling the bloodthirsty glee that so often passes for analysis in certain studios, urging others to pause and reflect. "He is a very old man. He's not very well, and his vulnerability should not be overlooked or dismissed. And whatever has gone before, I think most of us would feel some sympathy for him, regardless of past controversies or disagreements." Translation: stop feasting on this family's pain like it's your birthright, and remember the importance of treating others with dignity and respect. But the moment that will live forever in the hearts of anyone exhausted by the British press's Meghan obsession came seconds earlier, and it was so smooth you could almost miss it if you weren't paying attention. The presenter, doing what British presenters have been trained to do since 2017, casually referred to Meghan Markle. Jennie didn't miss a beat. "It's MEGHAN Sussex," she corrected, gently but firmly, the verbal equivalent of placing a crown back on someone's head after it's been knocked off for sport. 4 syllables. That's all it took. Meghan Sussex. Not Markle, the name the tabloids cling to like a toddler with a security blanket, because it erases her marriage, her title, her agency, and most importantly, her victory. Markle keeps her as the uppity actress who dared to marry into their precious institution, and then had the audacity to set boundaries. Markle keeps her small. Markle keeps her punishable. Let's pause and talk about that presenter for a moment, because the bitterness practically dripping from her tongue when she mentioned Meghan Markle was almost tangible, as if you could reach out and touch it. The disdain in her voice wasn't just subtle, it was glaringly obvious, impossible to ignore. You could hear the sneer in every syllable, every carefully chosen word, as if she was savouring the negativity. You could hear the decades, no, centuries of conditioning that insists royal women must always be polite, pliant, and above all, eternally grateful for their place. The very idea that one of them dared to look at the institution, saw it for what it truly was, and then chose herself instead. For some, that's simply unforgivable. Why so bitter, darling? Are you still mad she got out, that she walked away on her own terms? Or maybe you're still furious that she's thriving, living her best life, while your newspapers are slowly dying out, losing relevance every day. Or is it just muscle memory at this point? Say Markle, insert the knife, twist it, and hope someone's still watching. Jennie Bond didn't come to play that game. She came to speak accurately and humanely, two concepts that have become alien to large swathes of British royal reporting. And in doing so, she reminded everyone watching that it is possible, even now, to discuss the Sussexes without turning into a foaming caricature from 2019. Imagine that. Imagine covering a biracial American Duchess without the reflexive urge to punish her for existing. Imagine, just for a moment, acknowledging that family estrangement is painful and complicated, without defaulting to, Meghan Cruel, Father Saint. And well, imagine simply using someone's correct name, because it's, correct. Jennie Bond didn't just defend Meghan Sussex in that studio. She stood up for something much bigger. She defended basic decency, the kind that's often missing in heated public debates. She defended accuracy, reminding everyone that facts matter, even when emotions run high. She defended, really, the idea that a woman can leave a gilded cage and still be treated with a shred of respect by the very press that helped build the cage lock in the first place. It's about recognizing humanity, not just headlines. And for that, she deserves more than thanks. She deserves genuine recognition for her courage and integrity. She deserves a standing ovation, a moment where the room acknowledges her unwavering commitment to fairness. Because every time someone in British media says Meghan Sussex, instead of defaulting to the dehumanizing Markle, a little piece of the old narrative dies. It's a small but powerful act of respect. Every time someone refuses to recite the tired script, the myth of the difficult Duchess loses a bit of its power, and a new, fairer story begins to take shape. It's a small moment, barely 30 seconds in a longer segment. But small moments really do matter. Refusing to call Diana Princess Diana after the divorce was a power play, and insisting on Camilla Parker Bowles for decades was also a power play. Names are battlegrounds, and Jennie Bond just planted a flag firmly in the ground marked respect. So thank you, Jennie. Thank you for remembering that Meghan is a duchess, not a tabloid villain. Thank you for remembering that old men deserve compassion, and grown women deserve to keep the names they earned. Thank you for proving that experience doesn't have to mean cynicism, and that being a royal expert doesn't have to mean being a royal attack dog. In a media landscape that has spent years trying to reduce Meghan Sussex to a punchline, you reminded us all that she is, in fact, a person, a wife, a mother, a duchess, a force. And her name, whether certain corners of Fleet Street choke on it or not, is Meghan Sussex. Say it with me, Meghan Sussex. It's not hard. Jennie Bond just proved it never was.